So it's just a beautiful day, isn't it? Anyway, it certainly is, it's nice to have you here. We have the Mayor of Ottawa here, as you know, and also Al Chantieri. So our councillor. We also had, a little while ago, I met a fellow that I got to know pretty good. It was the mayor from Lawrence Valley. I don't know whether you know Jack Wilson or not. He's been mayor for about 49 years between Reeve, and he's trying to do 50 years, I think he says, and then that's it. So, talking about communications, guys, this is an important subject and an interesting subject. And that reminds me of a little story I got to tell you, okay? This little old lady, and I don't know why we pick on little old ladies, she's in her 90s, and she has her checkup with the doctor. And the doctor says, listen, do you still have a driver's license? He says, well, yeah. She's in her 90s. She says, can I have it? Sure, here it is. So he takes the driver's license, tears it up and throws it in a wastepaper basket. And so he says, you won't need that any longer. So a few days later, she gets caught on speeding. And the officer comes over and says, hey, I'd like to see your driver's license. She says, what driver's license? The doctor told me I didn't need it anymore. As you know, everyone of a business has a story and how it started. Let me tell you a little bit about mine. Think of a person who made a complete difference on your life, good or bad. If you had not met that person, what would have been the changes in direction of job, career, marriage, or place you might have lived? And that happens to just about all of us, I think. I'm happy to have known that kind of a person by the name of Mr. Morris McLaughlin. We at IH, that's International Harvester Company for short, we used to call him Mr. Mac. And I met Mr. Mac at the office on Bathurst Street in Toronto, and located not far away from the present CN Tower now. We both had been transferred there. He was from Ottawa, and I was transferred from Hamilton. He was the new district manager, and I was just an office clerk, but he was my boss. After a few run-ins with each other, as normal, we got to know each other pretty good and started to get to know one another better and in communications and became friends, matter of fact. I got transferred in sales to the company store, at that time was the company store in Newmarket, just north of Toronto. And only a year later, I got promoted to a territory manager covering Northern Ontario. And I'll tell you, there's quite a distance all the way up to Hearst and Cochrane and those places, all the way up to Sault Ste. Marie, Manitoulin Island. And I was stationed in North Bay, a very good place that I think some of my friend here knows. So, and I was there for about 2 years. North Bay is a great place to bring up a family. As a matter of fact, 2 of our children were born there, Dan and Christine. Then to Eastern Ontario in 1968, and I lived in Arnprior for 3 years. One week, Mr. Mack was visiting my territory to see some of my dealers. We were driving on Highway 17, I think it was just east of Pembroke and going on to Ottawa, and all of a sudden Mr. Mack asked me if I would like to be a dealer in the Ottawa area. I said, with what? Meaning dollars. He said the company IH was trying out a plan to get involved as a co-dealer in financing. I was invited to a meeting with the vice president in Toronto, and the rest is history and certainly life-changing. Then there are the people who inspire you, like Charles Monroe. He was the president of IH Canada during my first few years as a dealer. He was a great speaker, very motivational and positive. could always remember your first name, including your wife's. Charlie used to call me sometimes the Flying Dutchman. Yes, I was born in Holland on a small mixed farm in 1936. That's the same year as Stompin' Tom Connors and the newly elected Pope, as you know. So, very important year. Work was done mainly by hand, and I started to work at an early age, digging acres of potatoes, and you can see my short fingers, plowing with a horse and a one-furrow plow. Clean out the horse stable, and let me tell you, the strong smell of ammonia, if you had a cold, it would have been gone after that. You know something? I believe all the labor jobs that I've had has not hurt me at all. It created a positive work ethic and be humbled by it. I've always enjoyed every job that I've had. Being the youngest in the family of 7, I was a little bit of a rebel and willing to take some chances. Starting Reis Equipment was in the Hazeldean in the old building owned by the NCC, kitty corner from the now Hazeldean Mall. On a windy day, you could feel the wind coming through, like, you know, in the wintertime like this, I'm telling you, just blazing through almost. The mechanics and parts people. As a matter of fact, I have people with me still, Steve and Hugh, Steve Rogers and Hugh Hodgins. They can testify that, I'll tell you. Anyway, I think it was in 1976, and I asked the NCC for a lease extension, and the answer I got was, how soon can you get out of there? We had to do some planning right away and moved to this location on March 17, 1978. From a humble, small single dealership, we have grown to 3, all excellent locations, with gross sales in 2012 coming in at just under $40 million. My son and partner Jeff is going to take on a challenge to hit over 40 million this year, our 40th anniversary. There's a challenge for you, Jeff. Farming certainly has changed drastically since we started in the early 70s. Size of farms were 100 to 150 acres, and not many had tractors that were over 100 horsepower. The new technology has come a long way, such as GPS, electronics, comfort, and production. Not far into the future, we will see remote control farming. In any business, employees are your most important asset, and we believe we have the best you can get. To stay the best, you have to provide a lot of expensive training, have proper tools and safety conditions, and a proper environment to work under. In any business, you can have all kinds of ideas, but if you don't implement them, they do nothing. You must implement them, right or wrong. Every day, we all have to make decisions. And as I've learned from my friend Dick Lalonde here, he says, if you are right 80%, you just keep on going to make decisions. May Dick? As I mentioned at the beginning, persons who had a positive effect on your life and business plans, challenges, past and future. People that are or were inspirational and always positive. Like Charlie Monroe from IH, Bill Scouten. He was a forward-thinking farmer. And my friend Dick Lalonde here on Prytech Construction. Last but not least, my good wife Barbara, for almost 53 years, and our children David, Dan, Christine, and Jeff as my partner. Just to let you know that the name Reis has a meaning in different countries. The Reis name in Portugal is very popular, and it means kings. In Egypt, it means the boss. In Holland and Germany, it has something to do with travel, like Reis Bureau, Travel Bureau, things like that. I am fortunate of meeting and have met so many nice people over the years, and have traveled to so many countries with so much history and cultures. In Canada, there is so much to explore. And I encourage you, please take the time and just do it. Last but not least, I want to thank all the past and present customers for their support and loyalty, and that includes the City of Ottawa, your Mayor. That's a very important part of our business. This is what keeps us going and growing. So I want to thank you very much, and may you have a very good 2013. Thank you.